You fell in love with the broken.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Love in these modern times. Hey everyone, welcome back to Mr. Teach Film Preach, and today we're continuing my 12 days of Christmas watch films, the top 12 Christmas movies to watch at Christmas time. And today we're continuing my list with number 4. So my fourth pick for the top 12 Christmas films goes to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang stars Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, and Michelle Monaghan. 2005 drama, comedy, noir, detective film, and it was written and directed by Shane Black. This was his directorial debut, and he knocks it out of the park. This movie is incredible. Shane Black loves to set his movies at Christmas time. He has an obsession with Christmas time. If you look at the films that he's written, like Lethal Weapon, The Long Kiss Goodnight, Iron Man 3, even a part of The Nice Guys, they all have something to do with Christmas, or they're set at Christmas time. He likes to set it at Christmas time, and especially in Los Angeles. It's cold, it doesn't have snow, but they always put on snow displays. They have these big fake looking acts to celebrate this holiday, and it really juxtaposes the detective story, the gumshoe story, with this bright lights and Christmas and cheer and joy. And in the meantime, there's all these dead bodies and murder, and it just kind of contrasts really nicely. And I think he likes that dynamic and why he always uses it in his films. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is about a petty crook living in New York who, one night when a robbery goes wrong, he goes and runs into a building where they're having auditions for a movie, and he kind of gets accidentally roped into auditioning so he can hide from the cops, and he actually does such a great job. He gets hired and is sent to Los Angeles to get detective lessons from a private investigator named Gay Perry, played brilliantly by Val Kilmer. There he begins to learn the ropes of being a PI, and he gets roped into this murder mystery around Los Angeles that also has to tie in with a love interest of his from when he was growing up as a kid. And that's basically all I'm going to say, because I want people to go enjoy this film and watch it and get the story behind it. So this is actually going to be a little bit of a spoiler-free review, that I won't be revealing any sort of big plot points. So I love this movie. I think I was 14 or 15 when I first saw this film, and I actually went to see it in theaters, at the one theater where I was growing up that was actually playing this movie, and I had to sneak in because it was rated R, and I loved it. But I realized when I first saw it that I didn't catch a lot of the references, the dialogue I missed a lot of the times, the storyline was a little convoluted, so I didn't quite understand things. This is definitely a movie you need to watch more than once. It is a repeated film. I catch something new every time I watch this movie. I'm always picking up on little things here and there that they put in the dialogue or the characters or the situation. And the second time I saw this movie, I said, this is a masterpiece. This is such a great example of a film that uses narration perfectly, and it uses it not just as a crutch, as a lot of movies do with narration. Lazy, they don't want to have the effort to show, and so they tell, and showing is a lot more difficult to do well, but it ends up looking better. And in this film, the narration is an integral part of the story. In fact, it's an integral part of the characters as well. The character telling the story, Harry. And the way that Shane Black plays with the dynamics of storytelling and the narration is fantastic. It's so well done. And I think the style of it and cynicism and the sarcasm is just fantastic. Like, I love that opening shot, and he's like, my name is Harry Lockhart. I'll be your narrator. Welcome to LA. Welcome to the party. And he kind of just gets us into a very noir detective story, which this whole movie is based off of, and even is a big part of the story itself, is these Johnny Gossamer books, these detective books that a lot of these characters are obsessed with or really like, and he mirrors that and makes it an actual detective gumshoe story for his own film. The narration and the storytelling is brilliant.
I showed up mildly whacked on Demerol, thinking Harmony's theory wasn't so crazy. What if little sis had been murdered by the same assholes who off Veronica Dexter, remember? With the ski masks? Those dudes? Then and there, I made a decision. If it fucking killed me, I would not stop. Seriously. I was on the case. Harry Lockhart, L-A-P-I.
The writing is exceptional. If I ever write a script that's even half as good as this movie, I will be so happy and satisfied. And it's brilliant in its storytelling, the way that it conveys information, the way that it jumps back and forth in time to flashbacks to tell certain things, the imagination of certain things is very clever. And this movie is clever in the best way possible, and without being too pretentious or being obnoxious. This film doesn't get into that territory at all. The actors are fantastic in this movie. Robert Downey Jr., I would think Kiss Kiss Bang Bang may be in competition for my favorite Robert Downey Jr. performance of all time. As Harry, he is hilarious. He's an asshole. He's a skeezy little slimeball criminal, but you love him because he's so funny and he's so witty. He's actually a good person. He's got a heart of gold. He just does some really stupid things, and that is kind of his story arc in this movie. You contrast that to Gabe Perry, who is the smartest character in the whole movie. He is so badass and clever and quippy, and he's kind of always ahead of everyone else. Everyone else is kind of almost playing catch up to where he is, and I love how Shane Black really shows that with the character of Gabe Perry. And then contrast that, and he puts that up against this idiot of Harry, and their dialogue and the back and forth banter between them is just perfect.
You didn't flap your mouth so much. Yes, I think you're stupid.
You're gonna find when you look in the dictionary under the word idiot, a picture of me. No, the definition of the word idiot, which you are. You put a live round in that gun? Who taught you math?
I put in one bullet, didn't I?
You put a live round in that gun?
Oh, yeah. There was like an 8% chance. Wasn't it just 8?
8?
Yeah.
Who taught you math?
It is so well executed and so well performed. It's like these two juggernauts that weren't really juggernauts at the time. They were kind of making these comebacks, and these two juggernaut actors just burst into the scene, into these roles, and just totally took over. Their relationship and friendship that develops over the course of this movie is so beautiful and so hilarious too. I think this movie came out 3 years before Iron Man was even on our radar, and Val Kilmer hadn't done anything in a while, had really been out of the spotlight for some time, and this was a great return for both these actors. Revived my love for Robert Downey Jr. and also for Val Kilmer. Michelle Monaghan is also amazing in this movie. She doesn't get enough credit. She is definitely the hidden gem of this movie. And what I love about her performance is that she's able to stay tier to tier on level with Robert Downey Jr. and Val Kilmer. And the three of them, this trio, they're so good to watch. I've probably seen this movie about 15 times, and I love it every single time I watch it. I also love how Shane Black wrote this character, that she's not just the damsel in distress, that she's not just this helpless victim, which is oftentimes that happens in these detective stories. I love that she actually is badass. She's funny. She's witty. She's emotional. She's intelligent. She's flawed. And she's willing to do whatever it takes to get the truth. And that character is just so cool to see on film, and it's so great that it's represented in such a great way in this movie. I'm so glad that her character was such a important and main part of the story. She wasn't just like a second afterthought. The story is very convoluted. I will say it can be hard to follow at times because there's so much happening, and there's these two different cases, and there's all these things that they're investigating, and all these characters are coming in and out of the story very quickly at times. But I also appreciate that because Shane Black doesn't just make the audience seem like we're really stupid. He actually respects the audience. He doesn't just tell us things. He shows us in unique ways and tells us in unique ways and displays things very interestingly and not conventional to like a modern Hollywood blockbuster film. It didn't do very well in the box office, but this movie has definitely become a cult classic and one of the best ones. I loved this film right when it came out. And I've been a champion of this movie. I show this movie a lot to friends. It's a great crime movie or a great fun movie to watch at Christmas time. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is one of the ones I recommend. The amount of detail that's in this movie is fantastic, from the Johnny Gossamer books and how they bring those into the story to the integral little tidbit seeds that they plant at the beginning of the story, how that comes back later on in the film. It's hard to shock me. It's hard to really be able to impress me with the storytelling ability and surprise me with stories. And there was a couple of moments in this film that I went, wow, that was awesome. Like, bravo. I didn't see that coming, or I didn't expect that. And the way that he showed us and displayed it was very smart, and it impressed me. It feels like a big adventure crime drama comedy, and I love that. I think this movie is an hour and 40 minutes. It feels like an hour and 20. This movie just blows by. The comedy in this film is so good. It's hilarious. The situations that they get into, the things they have to do to get out of those situations, you know, they have to carry a body through a hotel and throw it off a balcony. They have to kiss each other so the cops don't suspect them and get the cops to leave the scene of the crime. They get into a lake with the dead body that was in the trunk of a car that gets thrown off the edge of a cliff. They get shot at. They kill other people. They accidentally shoot other people. They run people over with cars. There's so much that craziness that happens in this movie, but this movie isn't an action film. And I think some people, when they went to see this or were excited to go see this, didn't realize that it's not an action movie. The brilliance of this film and the way it sucks you in and keeps you invested isn't by great action, but it's by great storytelling. And that is movie making perfection. That is movie making at its best. If you can do that and the action's just more of a second afterthought, you know you've made a really great film. The characters are lovable. The setting is really beautiful. I love how he shoots LA at night, and the scenes and the action that happen at nighttime is so well done, and beautiful ambers and oranges and yellows and some blues to contrast it. The dialogue is a little quippy and sometimes a little hard to grasp onto. Definitely want to put subtitles on while you're watching this film. And I love Michelle Monaghan and Robert Downey Jr.'s relationship as it develops in this movie and deepens. And I love the scene where he cuts off his finger and
Airport, right? And I run into Flicka and she just got stuck.
Did I just cut off your finger?
Yeah. It's on the floor to my periphery. I don't want to see it. Pick it up. Put it on ice. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Pick it up. Thanks.
That spot.
Yeah, you know, that whole thing is wild. You know what else is kind of nuts? Is that you cut off my finger!
oh god. Or when she tells him, confesses to him that she slept with Chuck Chutney, his best friend growing up, and he's just devastated by it. Oh, there was no indication that she was raped.
You slept with Chuck Chutney.
Overall, this movie is fantastic. This is a masterclass in writing a script, in how you show that script on camera, on film, and how to tell a really great crime story without just pandering to the audience and just giving us the same shit we've already seen over and over again, but doing something different and original with a gumshoe kind of a story. For that alone, the conventions and the way that he told this complex story and wrapped it in this LA noir film is so well done, and that alone is worth the watch. Then you have the added performances of the main actors and the cast, then just the style of the movie and the way it makes you feel. It's set at Christmas time, so you get all the fancy lights and beautiful sounds and everything and costumes, but it's juxtaposed to this horrible acts of violence and this crazy crime story that's unfolding in front of our eyes. There's some great set pieces, wonderful banter back and forth, and characters that you just absolutely love and you root for the entire time. With all that in mind, this movie is brilliant in that way. It is a masterclass in filmmaking. It is a masterclass in how to write a great script and tell a fantastic story. So that's why I'm going to go ahead and give Kiss Kiss Bang Bang my highest honor of an A+. Yes, I love this film. Boom. They deserve this award of an A+. Top of the class. Thank you so much, Shane Black. If you like this video, click like down below, subscribe, comment. Do you guys like this movie? When did you become a fan of Kiss Kiss Bang Bang? If you haven't seen it yet, definitely go check out this film. It's a great Christmas movie. It's a great crime movie. It's a great comedy movie. Thanks so much for watching, you guys. Come back for more Mr. Teach Film Preach and check out the 12 Days of Chris Must Watch Films. Come back for the last 3 here. Top 3. Here we go. I love these 3. Have a great day, everyone. Stay safe. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and as always, let's get taught.